information from my great referral partners. And this morning, I have on with me Pradnya Leitner, mindset-based business and personal success coach, and Tanya Lehman, personal fitness and wellness consultant and contributor, new contributor to the
Yes.
San Carlos Living magazine. Thank you guys for being on this morning for our topic, the mind and body connection. And of course, my name is Paula Mattisonsierra. I run a company called Power Marketing here in San Francisco. And of course, why is a marketer offering something like this? Our mission statement is to offer fantastic, great information to other business owners to keep them moving forward, because marketing doesn't work if you don't work. So good morning, my dears. Thank you
Good
so much.
morning, Paula. Thank you for having us this morning.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Thanks so much.
These are unprecedented times, and I thought this would be a wonderful conversation for us to have. Let's jump right into it. The mind-body connection. Pradnya, I'm going to throw it out to you. Explain to the viewers right now, what exactly does that mean?
You said it wonderfully. These are unprecedented times, and we're responsible for staying in control of ourselves, our mind. And I'm not saying that it's easy, but it's absolutely doable should we commit to it. And let me begin by sharing a prayer that really resonated with my heart. American theologian, his name was Reinhold Niebuhr. He wrote a prayer. It's called the Serenity Prayer. Okay, and he opens up that prayer by saying, "God." Now, don't get boggled down. Doesn't matter who you choose to believe in. It could be infinite intelligence, the universe, higher self, inner being, energy, source energy. Doesn't matter. Okay? But the gist of that prayer is really relevant to the times that we're going through. He said, "God, give me the serenity to accept things that I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can change,
Yes,
and wisdom to know the difference."
exactly.
It's a beautiful prayer.
That's
Yeah.
a beautiful prayer. It's so perfect for what's going on right now. And this morning I got up and I did another live stream just on myself doing yoga, and really I did a portion of that without realizing I can't change the outside, but I can
Exactly.
inside and control
Yeah.
that, because I'm in charge.
Yeah.
And how does that flow, Pradnya, into what's in our heads? I mean, how the heck would what's in our heads actually affect our bodies? I say educate folks right now.
Absolutely. And here's what I would say, what's going on outside of us, we might not be able to control that, at least not overnight. Okay. And there are people who are dedicating themselves to getting that situation under control. But there are things that you and I can change. We can stay physically active. We can really use this time to develop the skill set we never really took the time or had the time to develop. We can really develop ourselves and our competency in our vocational area further.
Yeah.
We can take the time to initiate something we never did before. We can really engage with our loved ones and create lovely memories. Choice is ours. But for that, we have to have our mindset in place. And this
Exactly.
is where, Paula, I'll share this very important distinction, because you said, Pradnya, how does your mindset, or how does all of this?
Affect the body. Yeah.
Yeah. So thought is silent. It's quiet. It's on the invisible plane. You can't see it. Okay. But ultimately, it influences how you feel, whether you feel expectant, inspired to take action, or defeated and demotivated. Okay. Now, this is where you might say, well, Pradnya, but there's so much going on around me. How can I stay in control of my thoughts? And again, it's relevant to mention this story as well. Viktor Frankl, amazing Viennese psychiatrist. I love his book, Man's Search for Meaning, Paula. In that book, he talks about the times when he was in a concentration camp in Nazi Germany at the time, or Nazi era in the Germany at the time. And he said, despite of everything that was going on around him, the last of human freedom is in our ability to choose the thoughts that we want to choose. Nobody can make it or force us to think the thoughts that we do not want to choose.
Yeah.
But the choice, the choice is really a tricky word because it gives us the freedom to choose what we want to choose, but it also imposes the responsibility that we choose the right thoughts. This is where, the tool is pause and ask yourselves, what am I emotionally and mentally involved in? What thoughts am I thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Are they serving me? No. Well, then stop and say, pause, get rid of it. And what
Yeah.
do I want to think? And just that little mental trick can get you the awareness to start thinking what you want to think.
Absolutely.
Well, question, because this is going to transfer over to Tanya really easily. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Who's in charge exactly? Is it the mind or is it the body?
Well, I mean, I have to say, being a fitness trainer and dealing with movement and muscles, I believe personally your mind is your strongest and most powerful muscle. And whatever you practice up there and what you do to train that muscle, the body, everything else will follow. It may seem like it goes against my profession by saying that, but it's absolutely 100% the truth. I believe your mind is what needs to potentially be trained. And, some of those practices you mentioned about taking the time to actually process that thought that's coming through and deciding, okay, I'm going to take a pause for a second. Does this thought serve me right now? Is this putting me in a negative perspective, in a negative path? Or is this actually uplifting me? Is this helping to motivate me in this situation right now? Or is this really just a kind of a waste of my own personal energy? And that's where mindfulness really, I think, comes into play, is just really being able to process on a daily basis, hour by hour. Really, we're humans. We have all kinds of thoughts going on throughout the day. It's being able to sit with those thoughts for a second and decipher, is it worth moving forward with this thought, or do I need to let it go? Does it serve me? So 100% I am in agreement with, this is your more powerful muscle. Yes.
All right, I'm going to throw out this one out to you guys for discussion. Go ahead, Pradnya. You wanted to say something?
I want to compliment what Tanya said. Yes, this is a powerful muscle, but we cannot underestimate the power and the influence that exercise has.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
just as mind controls our body, when we get our body into motion, it really allows us to get our mind in order as well. So there is, as you said it, there's a support connection between our mind and our body.
Yeah. I mean, just by, having daily activity, and especially in the times we're in now, being a little bit more confined and not having the same access as we're used to, this is even more important to get up and do something every hour of the day, whatever that may be. I mean, it could just be do some jumping jacks in your living room. That blood flow and that circulation is going to alter your mood in a positive way and allow you to actually use this amazing muscle in a more effective way.
Actually, we were joking around yesterday, Tanya, when we connected that. Listen, you're catching up on all of your shows right now on Netflix. Valid, especially nowadays.
Sure.
Like it needs to
rightfully
happen.
so. We should, and that's something we should all take opportunity to do, right?
Thank you.
We always say, well, I don't have time to watch my favorite show. Well, now you do.
You can set a timer, as Tanya told me. It's like, set a timer and get up every hour. You're still watching the show. Do some jumping jacks.
Or with your children at home. Say you're watching just a regular network show. So we're dealing with commercials. Every commercial, plank challenge. Who can stay in a plank throughout the whole commercial? Or, until we get back to the actual show.
Exactly.
You have to be creative. And as a parent, I have 2 children myself. I'm a single mom. So 50% of the time I am raising children by myself. And it is very important I was talking to Paula about this yesterday. The night before you go to bed, have a plan in place, have something. And again, you don't have to stick exactly to that, but write some ideas down for the day so that we don't wake up with this looming sense of anxiety and anxiousness because we don't know how to fill our day at home. I find it works for me, and it's just nice to wake up and have something visual to look at that kind of keeps you on track, and it reminds you of some fun ideas to do, especially if you have children at home.
Can I tell you also, I think that some of these practices, if, again, you're kind of confined right now, if you install these practices now, I would be so excited for folks like in 2 weeks or so to have practices like writing down your thoughts about what your intentions are for the next year.
Absolutely.
And imagine taking that back when your business gets started, your
Absolutely.
school. I think that would just be so exciting.
You just nailed it on the head about what this situation means personally for me. And I'm sure there's other people out there that feel this way. To me, this is a perfect opportunity to reset. It allows you to do the things you may weren't able to possibly do before when we were in our regular routine. Maybe because you didn't have enough time, whatever the excuse may have been. Well, it might not be there. That roadblock may not be in the way now. So take this time to better yourself. That way, when we come out of this, interesting situation that we're all facing, you're actually your best self. And I think that's the positive way to look at and allow for this situation to resonate with all of us.
I like that a lot. All right, so the phrase that I wanted to throw out to you guys for discussion is, because of everything that we're seeing around us right now, different is better. What's your take on that, Pradnya? Different is better.
I think it all boils down again to whether we are reacting or whether we're responding.
Mm.
Okay. Different, you can perceive it to be negative, you can perceive it to be an opportunity. Napoleon Hill beautifully says, in every adversity, there is a seed of an equal or better opportunity. Okay. So now let's go back to that reacting and versus responding. When we react, Paula, and you know this, when we're reacting, the outside situation, person, event, circumstance has control over us. It's controlling us. We have given our power, our very ability to think and feel, we've given that power out to the circumstance. Okay. But when we're responding, we are in control. That's not to say that we're in denial. That's not to say that things are not happening outside. But when we are in control, we are holding that power within us. And that is when we can get even more mindful about how can I stay alert? How can I take preventative measures? How can I exercise all these precautions? How can I really do my part in alleviating the stress? Right? Now, this is key to understand, because people might say, I'm getting bombarded with all this information, and then there's no time to even think about reacting or responding. Well, that's not entirely accurate. And you know why, Paula? Because in every, whenever there's a stimuli hitting us, between the stimuli and our reaction, there's that space. And that space might be just 1/10 or 1/100th of a second. But should we choose to really pause and think, how do we want to respond to it? We will always be on the side of being solution oriented, always being on the side of what we want to take out of it, the lesson, the value from it, as opposed to feeling that we're deflated and the situation has total control over us.
Exactly. That's so well said. Thank you for that, Pradnya.
Yeah,
and
that's beautiful.
Different is better. What's your take on that?
Well, for me, I just think that we're all being bombarded. That was a perfect word, with information, and especially through the social media trails, there's messages pouring out left and right. Some of them, I think, have a positive spin to them. Unfortunately, I think there's a lot that have a very negative spin to them. There may be a little bit of a comedic relief to some of that.
Yeah.
Um, but in my personal opinion, and I'm just going to make an example so that it makes it very clear what I'm referring to, there's, a lot of posts and things and messaging that's gone out that speaks to, for example, drinking
Yeah.
or buying your wine and making sure you stock up on, forget toilet paper, get your vodka or whatever. And
Which is funny. Which is funny.
it is funny. Absolutely, it is funny, and I laugh at it. I'm personally, I love my red wine. I enjoy Pinot Noir, and we all like to relax and enjoy a cocktail here and there.
Yeah.
But I'm using this as a prime example of, for some people, this can really turn into a deathly spiral into um, a very negative situation, just by letting these filters that and these messages come in allow you to think, oh well, yeah, I guess I should just start drinking every single day and every night. We're in this situation, and so what else is there to do?
Yeah.
And I find that's where really being different and not following some of this messaging is extremely important to your overall health, your mindset, and really keeping things clear. I don't feel that in a situation like we're in right now, having any fog or unclarity is healthy for any of us.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to repeat it one more time. This is a time to reset and to become your best self, not
Oh,
fall backwards.
I love that. I love that. I mean, this really is the perfect time to be your best self. Is this instead of jumping in the pond where everyone else is the stream, getting pulled along with all.
Uh-huh.
This is so easy. I mean,
Absolutely.
I
Yeah,
taught.
and
Oh
that,
no,
there's other streams too where you can be pulled. I was just using the alcohol as one example. I
but
mean,
that's one
there's many other avenues where you can kind of tug into, I think, again, a spiral that really isn't going to uplift you. It's just going to bring you
that.
down.
For me, the alcohol is the biggest one that I'm seeing that it's again, we all have a
Yeah.
cocktail, now and again, a glass of wine, however, you're right. That was kind of the thing that's been kind of stuck in my head.
Yeah.
This feeling of malaise, this feeling of depression. I'm hearing words
Yes.
from folks like depression, and I'm
Yeah.
not feeling well. I'm lacking in focus. I can't focus. How do
Yeah.
you
Well,
focus?
and that's what
You
starts to
know?
happen. And right alongside of alcohol is food consumption. And again, coming from a fitness and a health background where, what I put in my body is extremely important to my gut health and my mental clarity. Making jokes and kind of going down this path of, well, I'm home, I'm just going to eat all day. Well, at the end of this situation, again, where is that going to put you?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to have a, distressed liver and be 15 pounds overweight? You have to be, again, mindful of your choices. And is this a positive direction, or is this not serving me?
Mhm.
Well, let's jump right into, of course, my big question is, can you both recommend some tactics that our viewers can take during this time? Some suggestions, some things that you guys are even doing for yourself. One of the ones you spoke to me about, Tanya, was like,
Uh-huh.
always wanted to start cooking and trying some recipes. It's like, isn't this a wonderful time to do that?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I'm going to start
that,
with you this time, Tanya. Why don't you tell us some tactics that
sure.
you suggest?
I would love to. So personally, for myself, I started a 30-day cleanse, and it happened to, and this was all kind of ironic. I planned to start it on the 16th, and as we all know, there was some very a specific messaging that came out that really altered our way of living on that exact day. I believe it was Monday or Tuesday. So this 30-day cleanse, you can see here, I've got my body cleanse that I've been sipping on. It encompasses all kinds of different things that I'm doing within the 30 days, but it, for me, is really keeping me on track. It's giving me a goal. It's giving me very set things to do day in and day out for the next 30 days when it comes to my diet and my nutrition. So I highly recommend. There's all kinds of really nice resets that you can do for your body and your gut health. I would highly encourage looking into doing something like that. It's definitely going to keep you on track. That's my number one. Number two, I already mentioned it, but it's making a list. It's sitting down, it's writing out all the things that you've always said you wanted to do, but you just never really had the time because of your 9-to-5 job, or maybe you don't have a 9-to-5 job, but you weren't at home. So make a list and do your best to choose one thing to try, per day, or, if they're bigger goals, then maybe one a week, whatever it may be, but make a list. I think that's important, at least starting to get that, you're manifesting something by writing it down, or even just by talking to somebody on the phone. I also would suggest stop the texting and the emailing, pick up the phone and let's start talking to people. I had a girlfriend call me yesterday. Hi, Lynn, if you're watching. And she said, and I go, wow, we never talk on the phone. And she said, I need to hear people's voices. I'm tired of just texting. I'm confined to my home right now. So let's pick up our phones and let's talk to people. Reach out to family members you haven't spoke to in a while. I think just that right there is very heartwarming and can lift your mood entirely. My fourth tip, and then I'll stop talking, is obviously fitness related. We've got to move our bodies. So I've talked about this before, and it was, I think, Paula, when I came on to 10 at 10 before, we were doing more of a workplace environment. Well, we're now at home. So let's take those same processes and let's do it at home. Every hour, set an alarm, and for the, do a minute plank for 1 hour. Then in the next hour, you're going to do a minute of jumping jacks. The next hour, you're going to do a minute of crunches. The next minute, you're going to do some squat hops. Just set an alarm. It's going to buzz and you're going to know what it means. And you're going to do something. There's 24 hours in a day. So say, you've got 12 hours where you're awake and you just did 12 minutes of some sort of cardiovascular or strength training, body weight exercise. And that's, a really good step in the right direction. So
I love that. Like one, Maze, if you're watching, what's up, girl? Maze and I are trying a 14-day Pilates challenge, and it's only 20 minutes. Maze, yes, I'm going to out you. She called me yesterday. She was like, "Oh my God, why? It's 20 minutes. Why am I dying?" Like, what at home and what else? Like, why not? You know what I mean?
And that's all you need. 20 minutes is plenty. I'm here to tell you, sometimes an hour, even, an hour and a half is too much. You don't need to exert that much energy. You can get a lot done and a lot accomplished in 20 minutes. And I personally have been dedicating to my clients, my friends, and my family, and my followers on my social media. I have every day been doing a video of about 20 to 30 minutes worth of exercises for different body parts. So
we'll make sure that
hopefully that's helping.
As well. Yeah, when if make sure that you send us that link so we can
Absolutely
as well, so they can have a little something to do.
Perfect.
And Pradnya, what about you? What are some tactics that you can suggest to our viewers? Because we did dedicate ourselves to doing this a little bit earlier than the normal 10 at 10, because we wanted to be prepared when people kind of got up for their day and rolled their coffee, And so what are some of the tactics that you can suggest as people are starting their day, or, throughout their day, actually?
Sure. As a matter of fact, gratitude tops it all.
I like that.
You know it, Paula, through experience. Your mind cannot focus on two things at the same time. So when you're really deliberately focusing your attention on gratitude first thing in the morning, when you wake up, and then just before going to bed, you're really taking care of your mental health. Now, make sure when you're gratituding, that's not an intellectual exercise. Oh, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. No, really feel it
Feeling,
viscerally in your heart, in your body. And that's just going to give you that emotional uplift that you want during these times. With gratitude, you can express gratitude for something that happened in the past, something that you're observing now, something that has yet to happen, like things that you're expecting. You can be grateful for things that are on the invisible plane, like the love that you have in your life, your health, your fitness, um, and you can go on, or something that you see in your physical reality. So there's no shortage and no excuse for writing or doing the gratitude exercise. Second one that I would say is that really recognize and keep this sentence sort of inscribed on your mind. I think it was Napoleon Hill who said it. Fear and faith, or Bob Proctor, fear and faith are both unseen states that we choose to believe in. What we're afraid of hasn't happened yet.
Sure.
What we're choosing to put our faith, our trust. I'm speaking from a spiritual standpoint, not necessarily religious, right? What we're choosing to put our trust in, yet hasn't shown up in physical reality either. But your thought is a currency. You want to waste it being on the side of doubt, worry, anxiety, or do you want to invest it saying, I know what I'm creating, and I'm going to stay focused on that, because whatever attention goes, energy flows. Whatever you're focusing on, you're creating. Now, along those lines, the third tip is that how can you stay focused? Tanya and Paula, with everything that's happening around us, how can we stay focused? We ought to have a goal. And maybe you had a goal before and you thought, oh my goodness, things are going belly up. So now, is it even worth it to be, to have a goal? No, have a goal. Do you ever see soccer players running around without a goal post? No. So having that goal is going to bring order into your mind. Okay. Now, the tip there is that don't change the goal. Just be flexible with having a different, means that you can embrace to get to your goal.
Exactly.
Now, the second last one that I would say that my mentor, Bob Proctor, had taught me is that be of service. He says that we're doubting and worrying and concerned when we're just thinking about us. You have talents. So really think about doubling down on your service, providing exemplary value. And in case, if you can't connect with your clients or provide service, then think about ways in which you can really be of value when all of this gets cleared up.
Yeah.
Right? Be of service. And it's not just clients at all. Be of service to your loved ones. Be of service to yourself. Be of service. As you shift your focus and challenges to service, you will start thinking about how can I help? And that's where the human soul gets lit up and is on fire.
I couldn't agree more with that. That's beautiful.
And then the last one that I would say is that, I'm going to piggyback on what Tanya told us, is that our physical fitness and diet matters, right? What you put in your mouth matters. What you put in here, your mental diet, is equally important.
Absolutely.
If not more. So, because when you have your mental diet in place, you're going to make proper choices on the physical nutritional plan as well. So how do you take care of that? Really know that your environment matters, right? And why does that? Why do I say that? Why is that the truth? I mean, you can have a seed, Paula, and you can sow it in a barren soil or fertile soil. The seed has potential to sprout, but it will sprout only when it's sown into the fertile soil. So now you and I and Tanya, we can't control the outside environment, but we can control the environment that we are in here, the internal environment. And how can you do that? Study the material that's going to feed your mind, your soul. Tune into, channels and things where you feel uplifted. And as a matter of fact, you asked us, I'm happy to share my Facebook link as well. where just from like midday today, I'm going to start putting out content every day. So again, tune into it, and that way you're guarding your mind. Just
Yeah.
as Tanya said, don't put alcohol in excess in your mouth. Just like that, don't put too much negativity in here. Your thoughts ultimately do become things. So I'll wrap it up with that. But let us know if your audience has any questions or if you can come back and answer more.
I will also, to everyone, make sure that I forward the links that Pradnya Leitner and Tanya Lehman sends over in reference to all the things that we discussed today. And for my side, one of the things that I've been doing, so it's funny to hear you guys both say these things, reaching out to others right now and having a conversation and getting off the text and just hearing a voice connecting us, which was really uplifting for myself as well, to get out of my head by helping someone else. So hopefully these suggestions, these tactics, our discussion today helps you guys to stay focused on the path, stay focused on your attention. Again, there's nothing that we can do about the outside, but we can control the inside, which is our mind. And so, great. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I know it was last minute. I thought of this yesterday and I said, we got to have something good out in the world. Let me reach out to these guys and see if they're available. So it was so kind of you guys to say yes, so that we can share this with everyone as they wake up for their coffees.
I want to thank you, Paula. You gave Tanya and I an opportunity to share with others. I mean, these are the times where we ought to come together. And this is where you see the positive, powerful side of humanity.
So. Absolutely. This is an opportunity. This feeds my soul. And I know it's probably the same for both of you ladies, to have a conversation like this and to share our thoughts. So thank you, Paula.
Thanks, everyone. And again, it was 10 at 10 today with Pradnya Leitner, Tanya Lehman, and myself, Paula Mattisonsierra. Our continued mission, as always, is to offer great information to your business and for your personal life to keep you moving forward. So again, reach out. We'll post everything on the bottom so that you'll have it for later. Thank you so much.
Thanks
you.
Everyone.
Take care.
Well.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. See ya.